This week's episode of the Totally Rad Show is brought to you by Squarespace.
The PSP 3000.
And GoDaddy.
Wolfman's got nards.
Three rad dudes with nothing better to do get abducted by the crew of the Starship Alpha 2. They're from the planet Q, which, due to a space-time loop, is stuck in 82 and must be rescued. They need our heroes to discuss the latest news and give their reviews of games and movies too. Sure hope you're not confused. We swear this is all true, not just the premise too. The Totally Rad Show.
Totally Rad Show, Totally Rad, Totally Rad Show, Totally Rad, Totally Rad Show, Totally Rad, Totally Rad Show, Totally Rad Show.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Totally Rad Show, episode number 90. I'm Alex Albrecht.
I'm Jeff Canada.
I'm Dan Trachtenberg.
The Totally Rad Show's weekly dose of all things rad. We go strolling down the nude beaches, shielding our eyes because we are paupers.
What?
we have no money to see naked people. Come on. And by rad, of course, we mean movies, video games, TV, and comics. We're super excited. Great show. Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, Tommy Pyle. We had a little Left 4 Dead a couple of weeks ago, but we're gonna revisit it in this episode. So we got
had
a little
sort of hands-on demonstration of the game.
And honestly, I'm pretty shocked that we did not get some Milk and Frost Nixon backgrounds. Nobody sent in.
I don't even know.
Would have
why
been
that
amazing.
We got 1,000 Gran
ideas.
Turismo once. Turismo. It's a car.
No, we appreciate it. Tommy Pyle sent that one in. Did we already say his name?
Yes.
Yeah, but it's all right. Give him 2. 3,
Awesome.
Tommy Pyle. Everybody hop on the pile wagon. I love it.
We're just piling them on.
That was horrible. Let's
did
get into
Jeff.
the show.
That was a Jeff.
That was a good Jeff. That was a good Jeff.
So, it's definitely officially Oscar season. Everyone's releasing their movies by the end of 2008, so they're eligible for the Oscars.
Yeah.
And we are going to. Have we already reviewed any sort of Oscar buzzy movies? I don't know. Anyway, this week.
Put me
So this week in movies, we're talking about Milk and Frost Nixon.
I would give an Oscar to JCVD's Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yes.
That's
we
what I would
actually
give
did
an
talk
Oscar
about that.
for.
We did talk about that.
I would give an
Dan
Oscar to
said
that.
that.
No, he said that.
Okay, Jeff said that.
Because I disagree.
Really? Blink,
Well, just
blink.
okay. So this we're talking about Milk first, and Milk is from director Gus Van Sant, who I've mentioned Finding Forrester tons of times in the show.
You're
but
the man now, dog.
he's had sort of an experimental. He did Good Will Hunting,
Yeah.
and then he started doing these experimental films like Elephant and Jerry
yeah.
and Last Days. These very like pensive, odd, alternate kind of flicks. And now he's gone a little bit more traditional. It's a formal story, and it's about Milk, which is the life and times of Harvey Milk, played by Sean Penn.
First off,
who's
Harvey Milk is a
basically-
great name, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
That's like a
It sounds
name
like a
that
fake
could.
name.
Yeah, right. I was just about to say it's like the great name for a lead in the movie.
It sounds like the name of the everyday guy who becomes a superhero.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like Harvey Dent.
Hi, I'm Harvey Milk.
Anyway,
Batwing?
Sean Penn plays Harvey Milk, who is basically the first gay man elected to city official.
Well, openly. That's probably been
Openly gay
a
man.
lot more than that.
Right. It's a biopic. What did you think of the?
Well,
of it,
first off,
Alex?
it's got lots of people in it.
It's got a lot of
Josh
of
Brolin?
cast.
Josh Brolin.
Yeah.
Emil Hirsch.
Diego Luna.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did
and
a little
the-
bit of that, and the big guy with the thing.
Spider-Man, James Franco.
Franco.
James Franco, right?
James Franco.
Right. All those are the people.
Yeah, it was great. It was a great cast. Yeah. Oh, is it my turn now to talk?
It sure is, my friend.
Milk. This is a very, very, very good movie. This is a very good movie. It is very rare. First off, movies, especially around Oscar season, are apt to make one/me very emotional and maybe a little moist in the face area, right?
Like you lick your lips a lot?
Yeah.
Or- Oh, you just
chapped
did
it.
a little
I
bit.
did a little bit. You did that to me. What's going on? We're both really
We're
tired.
both tired and trained.
So here's the
I'm
deal.
going
Here's
off
the deal.
tracks.
This movie, within the first 2 minutes, I was choked up. And that is really, really rare. I mean, literally, the first 2 minutes. And it's just this emotional roller coaster. It's this amazing time in history that I didn't know anything about, and yet it's actually really interesting to me because I know these areas like the Haight and the Castro and all that stuff in San Francisco because I go up to San Francisco often, but had no idea that all this history was going on up there at this time. It's a great period piece. I thought it was shot well. I thought everybody did an amazing job. I now know what you were talking about at the end of Frost Nixon. It was really cool to see the picture of the characters and then the picture of the actual people at the end of the movie during the credits. My only one thing I will say is Sean Penn's performance was brilliant. At times, to me, it felt almost caricature of what an outwardly gay man might be, and it almost fell into the I Am Sam category of Sean Penn. I'm serious. It was very rare, and then and halfway through the movie, I think I realized, you know what? I think that's just how this person was. I think this is just who this person was, and that. Because there are definitely people who you come off as these grand characters.
There's a scene in the movie where
But I loved it.
He's in front of the news cameras and he just won.
Yes.
And he's like, oh, I can't believe.
Yeah.
On Charlie Rose, they showed that actual
I was
news thing,
wondering about
and
that.
it is his
Okay,
performance
yeah.
is spot on.
And that's why
It's really
why I bring it up
quite
as a footnote, so to know if you go see this movie that is actually who this person is.
So you liked his performance?
I
Sean
did.
Penn.
I like Josh Brolin's performance. I thought it's so cool to see Josh Brolin go from role to role lately and just knock
Kill
them
it.
all out of the
Yeah.
park. I found the movie to be inspiring and wonderful, and it's so interesting how we have, in California where we all live, we have this
Yes.
Prop 8 business that just passed here.
And this
it's-
movie was made well before
Well
any
before.
of this
And
politics.
and it's a shame that this movie didn't come out before the election, actually, because who knows if it may have changed some people's minds about that. But it's interesting to see how these same issues come up again and again. And I've never been, as a kid, I was never a big fan of history. But as I get older, I really love learning about history, and even more, I think, than you, Alex. I grew up in the Bay Area.
See, who's it?
I didn't.
It's a Dan phone. Vibrating on the table.
I grew up in the Bay Area, and I had no idea about this history, and it's really stirring and a wonderful story. And I think that how it's shot, where it's interspersed with actual documentary footage.
Yes.
It feels authentic, and it's a bold choice because it could have really fallen flat and felt like all the stuff that was shot for the film it feels more artificial, but it didn't feel that way. It felt really integrated, and like this world was fleshed out and real and grounded.
Now, I want to say on the Prop 8 thing that I'm excited about this movie, and I hope more people go and see it. And to me, it's like what Zack Snyder said about setting the Watchmen, keeping Watchmen set in the past, not updating it, because it's sort of so people can walk out of the theater and go, hey, isn't that kind of like?
Let the audience make the connection rather than
exactly.
Which is great.
This is my favorite movie. This is one of my favorite movies of the year. This is unbelievable. It's a rise and fall story. I don't think it really has any fall. It's just one of the most hopeful, uplifting movies. You know, it's not, in movies like Ray or Walk the Line, it's and Boogie Nights, rise and fall, and then at the end there's a little, this movie is just how he did this, and yet it was still dramatic. Yeah. Absolutely. If you were hearing interference, it was my cell phone. I apologize for that. And Steven's touching that right now.
Just move going.
So, loved that. Love the filmmaking. I've said it before, but this movie does it really well. It manages to be natural and very real feeling without being handheld and docu-feeling. And it does it because there's a lot of long takes that are like if there's a conversation in a scene, there will be a guy who's like this. Like, it started out and you can see everyone's face and they're talking, then all of a sudden throughout the scene, his back's turned to camera. And this is the guy who's doing most of the talking. But his back, so right now, the audience, the viewers.
That great scene where they were panning, and as they were panning past every single character, and every single person's line was off camera. But even though they were all talking.
Right now, the audience feels like
uncomfortable.
No,
changing the channel.
Like they're observing a moment.
Right.
It's very unmanipulative filmmaking.
Right.
Interesting.
It's the complete opposite of Slumdog Millionaire in many ways, and I think it
where it
feels
doesn't
so
work?
honest.
You know where it doesn't work though? In podcasts.
And I also want to say Danny Elfman's score. So Danny Elfman has garnered most of his fame by working with Tim Burton, but he's collaborated with Gus Van Sant a lot, and his work in Good Will Hunting is one of my favorite pieces of music of all time, and this is very similar, and it's so uplifting. It's a beautiful score, and it's not, it's like there's two sides to him. There's that staccato-y gothic sound, and then there's this other acoustic uplifting
sort of like
sound.
deep uplifting sound.
And it's so great. I love the movie, and I thought Sean Penn's performance, I remember saying this when we discussed the trailer as well, I found it not like I am saying. I found, like, not caricature. More specifically, I just felt like his behavior, his way of just chill, even not when he was delivering lines was he a different person, but even in just his mannerisms felt like this is not the Sean Penn from Mystic River. He's a different human.
Yeah, it's a transformatory
like I said, I was just giving that as a caveat for people because halfway through I was like, this is just obviously how this person is in real life or was in real life. You know what I mean? But
all right,
great movie.
Yeah.
Moving on, Frost Nixon. So Frost Nixon is based on a play based on actual events. The play and the movie are both written by Peter Morgan, who's a famous playwright, and he wrote The Queen last year. Is he a famous playwright? Okay, that's put you on a spot. I just realized I just said that like as if that was true.
He's definitely garnered more fame as a screenwriter than as a playwright.
I see. Okay. And it's directed by Ron Howard of Happy Days and movies like Willow and Cocoon and
Apollo
recently
13.
A Beautiful Mind and The Da Vinci Code. So here's a departure for him, I feel, because he used to make these big Hollywood backdraft, and then and this is based on a play.
Interestingly, the two lead actors performed the play on Broadway for quite a long time.
Yeah, Frank Langella won a Tony for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Frank Langella and Michael Sheen.
Deservedly so.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
Also, Ron Howard said this was the hardest movie for him to get made, and it was the most constrained budget-wise and the shortest shoot time because they were like, we don't care about this movie, crank.
interesting.
Yeah.
Which
was surprising for him because it's like, I'm Ron Howard.
It stars Michael Sheen and Frank Langella as Frost and Nixon.
Yeah.
And it's their
Sam Rockwell, who I freaking love.
Oliver Platt.
Who's amazing. Others.
Yes, many people, but okay. So and it's about after Watergate, Nixon had never come out and spoken exactly what took place during that whole conspiracy and being impeached and all that.
He got pardoned, and so therefore never had to go to trial.
And never had to admit
never
any
had to admit
wrongdoing.
any guilt.
And this is in like 73-ish or in the early 70s. And so
Later than
David
that.
Frost, later than that, David Frost is this British journalist who scored this big interview, and it was a big deal when it aired.
Yeah, because he was just sort of like a cheesy talk show host.
Right. Well, the movie portrays him that way, but he actually did have some. In real life, and I read a little bit about it. He did. I actually saw an interview with him. He had already interviewed some
other
big
people?
political
Okay.
figures, but the movie wanted to portray him as more an underdog.
Okay. Cool.
But what did you think of Mr. Play Guy?
Yeah,
You're a big
I mean,
Play guy.
this is the kind of movie that I fall madly, deeply in love with, and it absolutely knocked my socks off. I was blown away by this movie. The performances, Frank Langella will be nominated for an Academy Award. He captures Nixon in a way that is very different than what Anthony Hopkins did. It's not so much an impersonation of the man, although he kind of gets some of the vocal stuff there. But he lives in that role in a way that is so fascinating to watch. You get lost in his eyes, to be
Well, you
lame
forget
about
it's
it.
Frank Langella.
But there's these.
You just got
zoom
Harvey
ins.
Milk on Frank Langella.
Yes, I kind of did. There's these push-ins during the interview section, and he's thinking, he's working his way through how he's going to deal with this answer, and you see it all happen in the actor. It's spectacular. I think, like what I said with Milk, this is an interesting partnership that we're talking about these two movies, because again, it's interesting how in the past we've had to deal with things that we're dealing with again, and it's so interesting to see these films. And this film is so much about making people accountable for what they do, and it totally resonates with what's going on in the world today. It is ostensibly two people in a room, and yet is electricity. You know, it is the kind of thing that I love, which is a movie about language and how language is important.
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. I love that.
It was actually really funny sitting next to Jeff while we were watching this movie.
Was he like, oh?
Well, there were certain lines that were just about language and the use of language as battle, and he was just like,
I love
Which is great, I knew.
that's what turns my crank.
Yeah, Frost Nixon. I loved this movie. This movie is the best movie I've seen so far, and I've seen a lot of movies.
Oh, it's funny too, right?
It's hysterical. It's hysterical. It's sincere. It is a fight movie. I got a Twitter when I said, I was like, yeah, I'm going to blah, blah, and this guy responded to me and said, I love that movie. It reminded me more of Rocky than a politics movie.
Absolutely.
And that is 100% true. I thought all the acting was phenomenal. I love Sam Rockwell, everything he does. He was amazing in it. And I love the guy who played David Frost was unbelievable. And
Michael Sheen.
But, God, the Frank Langella stuff, the stuff about Nixon, and I really felt like it didn't just attack Nixon. You know what I mean? It didn't just come across as we're showing you this monster that everybody believes he is. They really kind of said, let's let the real man come out. And you can
he's
see
charming
what
as
he is.
hell.
Well,
he's funny and charming and interesting.
I know. To me, this was a super, super, super fun movie. I really enjoyed it, and I was not looking forward to it because I'm not a big fan of politics. I'm not a big fan of historical period pieces that are about politics. It was great. Both that and Milk, I was like, oh, I'm so not, and we're socks blown.
Yeah. I actually was kind of just lukewarm on Frost
Really?
Nixon. Yeah, I wasn't blown away.
Get outta here.
I
Did you see Frost Nixon?
Just Frost.
Or Cynthia Nixon on the street?
I'll tell you. I think for one, the only thing I can sometimes you just like eat a piece of and it's like, oh, it's good, taste is taste. But I think the one and I love that verbal sparring.
Yeah.
As is always true with movies that come from plays. The only thing I could pinpoint is something that felt lacking to me was I didn't really get to know Frost the way I got to know Nixon. To me, it was more like Frost's team and Nixon. And I felt like I wanted to understand where he was coming from so I could be on his side a little bit. I wanted to know a little bit more about him and his motivations.
Yeah.
The end kind of showed some light that was interesting, but ultimately I wanted to know Frost as much as I knew Nixon. That's the only thing I can think of. But to go off of what you said, when his face, there's a moment that they show in the trailer when he says, I think if the president does it, it's not illegal. And after he says those words, his face goes through like 8 different emotions that are all mean different things. I completely relate to all 8 of those emotions, and it's all there in like a split second. That's human.
And there's something that happens with his eyes that they kind of vibrate a little bit, and you just see him like he's thinking.
Yeah. He's not performing, he's thinking.
I had an acting teacher in college who used to say, first thing you do when you act is you think. You have to think the action first, and it's like that. It's there right on the screen. You see him. It's happening all right there. It's so awesome to watch.
Yeah, it was great. I really enjoyed it. Oh.
So we have been trying to get through as many of the big holiday releases as we can. I talked very briefly about Animal Crossing, but other than that, we haven't really talked about any Wii games, and there's a couple of really interesting titles. We have Skate It from EA and Shaun White Snowboarding from Ubisoft, and they both support the Wii Balance Board as a form of input. So we're gonna play a little of both of these, and we haven't played them at all yet. So we're gonna try them out and see how the balance board is as a gaming peripheral.
Feel that board, man.
How's it feel, Alex?
It feels all right. It's weird to see her not goofy and me goofy.
I'm watching all kickers.
Kicker! Oh!
Yeah,
Epic.
perfect plus 10%.
Oh, you got it.
Oh, almost did a backflip.
Epic.
Oh, he's all covered in snow.
Oh, you pulled that out, bro.
Amazing.
I saw you wanting it. Oh!
Oh, grind!
Oh!
Nice grinding!
Oh,
you're balancing.
What?
Epic, Dan.
Epic, Dan.
You're rocking.
Oh shit.
What are you doing?
You're rocking.
Oh!
You did some sort of
Frontside slide. Well, we saw a lot of not.
Oh, that had to hurt. Oh, this is big. You're gonna avoid it. Oh, you got it.
Do some AFBCH. Oh!
Oh! Jam on it.
Do it.
Oh, it's so much respect.
Gorilla into the mist.
Oh, dude, Jump in the street. There you go. Nice.
Jump on that
Get that
one.
crown. Get that crown. Yeah. I like how it makes grinding pretty easy. Oh! Defying physics. Oh! Amazing.
I gotta say, I like the soundtrack.
Oh, he went for it. That was epic. Nice, bro. Oh!
I want it. Try too hard.
This is a 3Z. I can tell. I can feel it. 3Z. 1, 2. Oh no! Pull out! Oh, that was not what I intended to do at all. I just wanted to see it. I am jamming down this mountain, dude.
It's all about speed.
Oh, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Yeah, dude. Wow, you almost had the 2 minutes even.
Wow.
Oh, I have to. You have to push it. A to.
Hey, the more you pull, The sweeter it's gonna be when you make it.
Oh, I see where this is going.
This is just more technical. This is just more technical.
Oh yeah, that's badass.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm badass. Still trying to figure this out.
we can see that.
All right, I'm just gonna think about it like I'm actually skateboarding
Yeah, there you go. Nice little nollie
instead
there.
of playing the game.
Oh, that would have been epic.
Who put that picnic table there?
No, that's for you to play with.
Oh, I just went off the pole. That was incredible.
Before we move on.
Oh, I was gliding like a butterfly and stinging like a slightly larger butterfly with a stinger.
So that's kind of cool.
That was kind of cool. Oh, get up on that!
Oh! I'm not gonna lie to you.
That's right, that's right.
Your guy flew up into the air.
Oh! Wow!
Oh! They really nailed the animations, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of people running into walls
What is he doing?
and somehow being able to do that.
Face buster,
All right,
buster.
let's watch the semi-professional skater.
Yeah, Alex, I expect greatness.
Try it again.
Ah.
Try it again.
I know it is hard.
Oh, that would have been cool. That would have been cool.
you.
Try to. Amazing. Don't know what happened there, but that was
That was
amazing.
epic.
All right, so we played a little Shaun White snowboarding and a little Skate It.
Yeah.
What did you guys think? Very early. I mean, we just barely
and
played
we're,
any.
And we're really talking about the experience playing with the balance board. I'm gonna say I had more instant fun with the Shaun White, but I think I would enjoy the Skate It better.
It's deeper.
Because I think it's deeper, yeah.
They're both pretty fun.
It seems like the Shaun White you could throw on at a party and everybody would have instant fun.
Yeah.
And Skate It is just frustrating
could
until
throw-
you really learn how to play it.
This is a simulator, a skate simulator. This is an arcade emulator.
Let me break it down for you. This, I didn't mind that I didn't have to not jump.
Right.
This, I made me want to jump.
What do you guys think of the Wii balance board as an input device overall?
I think it's a gimmick that I would never want to do for any extended period of time.
Well, I mean,
Other than Skate It, you just said.
Oh, no. I mean, I'm not going to play Skate It with a Wii balance board.
No.
Because here's the thing. You know what it is? It's the uncanny valley. Seriously.
inputting?
Of input devices.
you're
It
saying
doesn't-
it's close enough to the experience that you want to do it exactly the same way. And so, since you've now moved into that territory of feeling sort of the experience in your body, you want to go further, but you can't go further.
Yeah, it's like if
because
I'm
of the
going to
limits of
stand,
the
if I'm going to stand up, and now I'm inputting based on my body movement, it's got to feel the way I want it to feel. Otherwise, I'm just wiggling my hips, and that's not fun.
I think it's cool that we can play these games now in our homes on something that is
Well, now that I like, the fact that it's like SSX Tricky in the arcade or whatever.
interesting nonetheless.
Yeah. It's fun
Wolfman.
doing it.
Wolfman.
Come on,
Wolfman
come on.
around.
Video games!
Some might argue the last big fall release before the holidays is the game we're going to be talking about this week, the game we've been playing all week, and it's Prince of Persia. The Prince of Persia franchise I know is one near and dear to Dan's heart, and it's been around, well, actually, the original Prince of Persia was a game I played. Maybe
me
you guys
too,
played,
yeah,
all
on
on
the computer.
PC
Yeah.
a long time ago, and it was a 2D. I remember the animations were so fluid and
I
wonderful.
felt like it must have been made by Disney.
You can play it now actually on Xbox Live Arcade, but it was a 2D platforming
With
game
the
with
knives.
spikes and traps everywhere, a prince with sword fighting and all kinds of stuff. That was updated on the Xbox and PS2 days to the Prince of Persia Sands of Time, which Dan always brings up as one of his favorite games ever. And that kind of brought the Prince into 3D, involved a lot of this more parkour, traversing of environments, sliding on poles and all kinds of stuff. That had two major follow-ups. And now we have this new Prince of Persia, which is Sans subtitle, which is
Yes.
get it? See what I did there? Amazing. You got to admit, amazing.
Amazing.
And so that kind of represents a little bit of a reboot for the series, and boy, have they taken it in an interesting new direction. This one is about a prince again, we think. Guy who's traipsing across the desert, loses his donkey, runs into a strange female who brings him into a strange situation with her father, and he ends up having to try to cleanse the world of this corruption that has infected these.
Well, this area.
Yeah, well, right.
Before it takes over the world.
Yes. So what you're doing in this game is you are traversing these environments, getting to these fertile grounds, using her magic to cleanse.
Not fertile grounds.
Fertile
grounds.
I played the game.
Yeah.
And you play the game on the dark side, fighting enemies and trying to get to the fertile grounds and cleansing the area. And then you play the same levels after they've been cleansed by collecting these light orbs that are all around.
Balls of light.
Seeds of light, actually.
They look like balls.
And anyway, so there's this mechanic with a companion who's with you all the time. You never die. She will always save you if you're in trouble. It's a completely different. It really takes the traversing of the environments, the parkour-y stuff, way over the top to the next level. You can get these 4 powers through the game that you'll unlock that allow you to access these panels and that fling you around or make you run super fast or fly. And then you defeat these bosses. An interesting thing about the game also is that it's kind of open worldy in the sense that you can choose which order to do any of the worlds in the game, and there's a kind of ostensibly an overworld that lets you move from world to world. So there is some choice as to how you attack it.
Good way.
I know, Dan, you have very strong feelings, but I'm going to start with Alex.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, and see what did you think of this
Dipsy
new
Doodle.
Prince of Persia? It's got a new visual style
Yeah,
also.
cell shaded, which is kind
Well,
of cool.
it's actually a little
It's sort of
slightly
weird,
different
yeah.
than cell shaded. It's got its own
like-
kind of unique thing.
It's like pastel-y.
You know, it looks to me like those old Roberta Williams Sierra games when they like
Yes.
like King's Quest 4
yeah,
when
yeah,
it got to
yeah.
the hand paintedness.
Yeah.
It looks very hand painted.
Prince of Persia. I'm gonna say some. Well, two things right off the bat. I love this game. It is super fun. I love all the stuff they've done to it. I have a few issues.
Okay.
So the stuff that I love about it, right? Unlike Mirror's Edge, to me, the joy of running around in these areas is so satisfying. Being able to link jumps and knowing, and also here's the thing that I love about it is I can just run in a direction, and as I start to see the environment, I get where he goes. I know how he's supposed to do it.
Well, they
I
do a
always
lot of
felt-
interesting stuff with visual cues, like he does
like scrapes on the
on
wall.
the wall.
Yeah. So I really felt like I would go long strings of these acrobatic things, and I actually started to really enjoy chaining them together so that I wouldn't have to ever stop. And also, like on the poles, if you time it right, you do a flip. If you time it right up on the thing, you do another thing. So
Yeah, when he grabs onto the poles, he automatically flips to the opposite side of it.
right, which is great
Which is
because you can just
interesting.
continue.
Yeah.
Because most of the time, and there are times when that is like, oh, okay, I got to make sure I stop because sometimes you just jump straight off. I really like that, in Sands of Time, you actually got this time thing that allowed you to basically do what this does as well, which is when you die, you don't really die. You can push a button and you, I didn't do that jump.
Yeah.
This mechanic to me is pure buttery goodness because I don't need to. I know the consequence to me was that my progression has stopped dead in its tracks. I don't need to see my guy die. I don't need to go 6 years back to feel punished for that. So to me, this solves that problem greatly. The fact that you go through a level to get to the middle, then you just get to play around in the level, getting these light orbs, which is part of the game, to me was amazing. Loved it. The story was fine. I mean, it's nothing great about the story, whatever. I thought the mechanic with her was great. I was worried that she was gonna be somebody I needed to take care of, but really, she's just...
Not at all.
Not at all, and to the point where it's awesome when it goes great and you have to be like, oh crap, did I hit it in time so I can get the double flip? Amazing, super fun game.
I want to
Problems.
Before you get to that, I just want to clarify what you just said.
Yeah.
There's a really interesting thing with double jump, where
Yeah.
if you're not going to make a jump, the entire screen kind of whites out.
Yeah.
And as it gets closer to white, you're closer to death. And you
Right.
can push the Y button, which will have her help you do that second part of the
Yeah.
double jump.
Right.
But it's an interesting visual cue
Yeah.
that I've never seen a game do before, and I thought it was really effective.
I thought that was really great. I also wanted to say the way that she does the sort of like almost like Dead Space ball of this go this way, and
Right.
but you can also set where you want it to show you where to go.
Right.
Genius. Some issues. This shouldn't have been called Prince of Persia. It should have been called Prince of Douchebag American. There is no excuse for a game called Prince of Persia about a Persian prince, theoretically, that it sounds like a douchebag from Los Angeles. Nothing is funny in this game. Stop trying to be funny. I don't give a shit about his donkey. I don't care. All of the jokey, snarky, bullshit comments that came out of his mouth made me hate it. Hate it. Good news is the game is so much fun, it transcends all that. But that was one of my biggest frustrations. The second thing was, for as much as I played this game, and I played this game a lot, I could never really get into the combat system. I always felt like I just didn't get it. And I understood it.
Well, let's clarify that also.
Yeah, the combat is very interesting.
All the other Prince of Persia games have had multiple enemies that he's fighting, flipping around, attacking with swords.
Yeah.
This game, you only ever fight one thing at a time, and it reminded me a lot of the Star Wars Force Unleashed boss battles.
They're
where
like
it'd be
mini boss battles.
little duels.
Yes.
And you don't have a health meter, but the enemy does have a health meter.
Right.
And if you get killed by the enemy, it just restores the enemy's health meter.
Right. Yeah. So and the dual aspect was really fun, and when it would work, it was poetry in motion. When I would get a string of a combo and like she'd throw up in the air, and at one point I threw her at the thing, and I'm like, I don't even what? This is an attack? I take the chick and throw her at you?
Yeah.
So there were moments that were really great, but I just felt like when I would get hit, I would stand up and I would try to attack and always be hit. Always. Mm-hmm. And then when I would block and I would let go of block and try to hit, I would always be hit. Always. And so I couldn't quite figure out the whole counter thing. But
You can't hold down right trigger. It's about
Pressing at the right time.
at the right time, and that does the counter for you.
Also, they'll get into different states where you can only attack them.
I
on a
got that.
certain-
Yeah. And I was doing those, and that was working, but I couldn't get to the grip. Anyway.
Dan, Prince of Persia, super fan, Dan Trachtenberg. What do you think of the reboot?
You would think. That's why I should be introduced.
And I will be introduced as the Wolfman.
Yeah.
And I am pending.
You would think.
I'd like to introduce my friend Pending.
You would think that a Prince of Persia game that borrows heavily from Ico and Shadow of the Colossus, which are
very
two
much
of my
does.
other favorite games, are two top 5 favorite games of all time. Ico, Shadow of the Colossus, sharing one spot.
Is that legal?
It's legal. It's legal. That's how I play the game. Mixed with Prince of Persia, which you said, Dan, super fan. You'd think it would be a wonderful experience. It was just an okay experience.
I knew you weren't gonna like it.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Wow.
It's a very pleasant to play, but it's very satisfying how he traverses the terrain.
But they took away the thing that you like,
They took
right?
away challenge.
Well, they took away finding how to get to the next place.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, the only challenge in this game is seeing a seed and you're not quite sure how to get it, and you have to figure out how you get it. That's the only challenge. This game is very easy. I found the game to be very easy.
I agree.
The combat was very easy. Once I clocked into how the best way to kill one guy, it was the same way for every guy. For the boss battles, there was no challenge in the boss battles for me.
Well, the warrior's
and
different.
the-
Did you
and
fight
the-
the warrior? The only way to kill him is to knock him off the platform.
Yeah.
Yes.
That took me a while to figure that crap out.
So just for that matter, I had a much more enjoyable experience playing Mirror's Edge because that had challenge, and it was a similar feeling that it gives you, the feeling like you're doing parkour, but this was just hitting a button. It was very similar to Assassin's Creed. While we're speaking of Assassin's Creed, I will say
I don't
that,
think that
while
counts.
I'm speaking of it, I will say I think it's an interesting art style. I think Assassin's Creed has the best next-gen graphics. And I wish that I wish they didn't make Assassin's Creed because I don't think they wanted to do those graphics for
Right.
this. And I wish they'd done it because I think that stunning, and I wish this game had those. This was interesting, but not as good as Assassin's Creed,
Right.
which is a similar game type. I thought that the story. Oh, I spoke about the combat. The other thing I want to say about the combat is what was fun about the combat in all of the other modern Prince of Persias was that there were multiple enemies.
Yeah, chaining your attacks. Yeah, I know.
Fighting one guy and then slamming into the next guy and did it in slow-mo and then high speed in the later one. You know what I mean? That this game has.
Well, there's still some of that in the sense of chaining your attacks together, where you, like you said, flip her and then leap.
But there's
and then do
but that was just spamming the same button over and over again. And I really
Well, I
wanted
went
to.
YX, but
That's
all
what,
right.
yeah. I mean, same chain of combo buttons.
Was actually AY.
And also, what it doesn't do that the other game, Prince of Persia games, did so well was the story and dialogue integration.
Yeah.
The dialogue in this, I mean, the way the story is told in this game. Now, I will say, I actually thought there are gem moments in the dialogue that the snarky stuff that you didn't like, I actually enjoyed. I thought they were
You know what?
funny.
I knew as soon as jokes came out of his mouth, I was like,
But
damn,
not just that. Not just sometimes they were lame. Sometimes they were funny. But more importantly, there was a really good verbal sparring articulating the idea of being an adventurer and being a prince of the comfort of having a religion and faith.
Well, it
and
does
having,
Romancing the Stone.
Yeah, and then exactly. Well, it's all of those kinds of movies. It's Australia, but it was articulated in a very interesting way. Unfortunately, it's buried in this horrible where you have to hit the L trigger to trigger a
I
dialogue
stopped
sequence,
doing that
and then it
after I got
stops,
the achievement.
and then you hit L trigger again. Why don't you just play the whole thing out?
why can't you have them talking while you're doing stuff?
That's what I was gonna say. Is what was great about the first was Sands of Time. Is that there weren't really there were the CG rendered cut sequences, and then while you play the game, and there's so many dry moments in this game. Why not while you're traversing, which is so simple, while I'm doing this thing and she could be saying, hey, you know, the corruption was here.
Did you get to the exchange that they talked about where he's like, let's play a game?
Yeah,
I'm gonna guess
I really
that
enjoyed
was
that
awesome.
actually. Yeah, but that could have been while we were traversing.
Yeah. My take on this game is that initially I really did not like it. Initially I found the control scheme to be very off-putting. I tend to play these games, Tomb Raider and these kind of games. I tend to hit the jump button a couple of times when I need to jump up something.
Yeah.
And this game will it'll cache
load 'em.
those.
Yeah.
And so
I
if you
know.
push it twice, he'll jump up and then jump out, and then I'll die.
Right.
And I was like,
Been there.
I
I was
don't
there.
like that.
Yeah.
But I kept playing and I kept playing, and I kind of got used to that. This game actually plays a lot like a long extended QTE. It's a giant QuickTime event. It's a giant like Dragon's Lair game where
Or like Elite
he
Beat
does
Agents.
most he does most of the work for you.
Like a
And
rhythm
instead of
game.
a giant button coming up on the screen, which it does that plenty of times too, but when you're in the world, it's I see a ring, which means it's the B button.
Right.
So I have to hit the B button. And now I see, a wall at a run-up, so I have to hit the A button.
Right.
So it's these visual cues that are more like, and you don't really need to control him all that much. You just need to hit the buttons at the right time, and he'll continue on his path.
Yeah.
Which I really didn't like at first. Then I kept playing, and I kept playing, and the grandness of what he's doing, and this game takes over the top and just goes way over the top with it. By the time I got all four. I haven't finished the game yet, but I did get all four powers. And by the time you have all four powers, and there's these awesome escape sequences after you destroy a final boss. And you have to like leap up to the panel, and you'll fly, and then you'll be flung with the red power, and then you'll be doing this like
weird
Sonic
chain
the
thing
Hedgehog.
she goes.
Yeah, and this like Sonic the Hedgehog thing with the green power where you're running on the outsides of stuff.
Yeah.
I think the next Sonic game, this does what every Sonic game has tried to do.
Yeah.
Is this game? I think this would have been a better Sonic
I
game.
will say one
than a
of
Prince
the
Persia
negatives
game.
that I totally forgot and I want to touch on right now. What up with the Space Harrier bullshit? I don't want to have to control that. The panel is there to make me go.
You're talking about when you're flying, you
I
have to like
died.
dodge stuff.
Yeah.
I like that
was
actually.
To me, I was like-
Seed.
What I did not like is the combat. I hated the combat system in this game. I never got used to it.
Yeah.
I found it frustrating as all hell.
Good news is it didn't happen very often.
It does. Well, it happens more times than I would have liked.
I know, but I mean.
So ultimately, I kind of clicked in and liked the game more than I disliked it, but
it's a popcorn game for me.
It's not those
It's a
old
pop-
Prince of Persia games.
Yeah.
you know.
Also, you mentioned the powers, and
Well,
after
calling
collecting
them
all the powers as well,
Well, that's what they call them.
I know, but they're just opening the ability to jump
they
off
are
shit.
so right,
Because
exactly.
I was like, what? Oh, I didn't get any powers. Like, I
Right.
wasn't able to do it.
It's just these
Those-
panels.
Yeah.
the powers are.
But the level design in this game-
The power. Can I just say the powers in every other Prince of Persia game besides this, slowing down, speeding up, like
Yeah.
those were fun. Those made the gameplay fun.
These
This
are just
was
wild, over-the-top ways to get around the level.
Yeah.
sort of.
But I have to say, the level design is awesome. You're going up these huge towers and having to go down the outside of them.
When it actually gets cleansed, it's gorgeous. These areas
Yeah,
are like,
I agree.
I want to be playing.
I liked it more than I didn't like it,
Yeah.
but it certainly wasn't a home run for me.
Yeah, Prince of Douchebag
like
American.
that.
You know, you saw us play the Wii Balance Board stuff before this segment, and a couple of weeks ago we did the same kind of thing with Left 4 Dead, which is a co-op game, but we never really got a chance to talk about it. So Dan, I wanted to ask you, you've had a chance to play a lot since then also, and Left 4 Dead is Valve's 4-player co-op survive the zombie apocalypse game. It's also got a versus mode. So now that you've had a little more time, what you saw 2 episodes ago was our very first time playing it.
Disc
Now
in.
you've had a little more time to digest and play a little more.
It's awesome.
Okay,
awesome.
Alex.
Insanity.
First of all, it was awesome when we played it.
Yeah.
But then playing the other scenarios
Yeah.
that are even awesomer.
Yeah. 4 scenarios.
4 scenarios. Awesome.
And they're all organized in a way that they're almost kind of like a mini film.
Yes.
And it has the cool like movie poster at the beginning.
Totally.
Yeah.
Here's the issue. Only 4.
Well,
Kind of
suppose the
a bummer.
DLC.
I've replayed a bunch of them again, and it's still fun, but not as fun.
You kind of know where to go.
You know where to
Do you
go, and
think-
it's about how you handle the situation. It's really the game. I struggled to say it, and we shot that segment, but the game isn't about the challenge to the character on the screen and how
Right.
to accomplish it. It really creates a vibe between the people playing
Yeah.
it, and it's just fun
It's an
having that
experience.
experience
It's an
with your
experience
friends.
game, yeah.
The game it knows what you're thinking, it anticipates what you might be doing, and it just allows for you to have fun with your buds. Not fun playing by yourself. I played by myself. Wanted to see what that was like. I really did not have fun doing that. Versus mode, interesting.
Where you can play as the zombies or as the survivors. And as the zombies, you get killed really easily and you have to wait to spawn, but then you get to sort of, it almost turns into a strategy game where you have to plan your attacks and you can only spawn a certain distance away and you have to hide and...
You're not the just every zombie. You are the main boss. You're the blob.
But every
guy,
zombies are
spits.
still there.
Right.
Yeah.
So right, as you said, it's like a strategy game. It's an interesting, not the most fun multiplayer experience, not as fun as the
Co-op online.
co-op together
Yeah.
co-op experience, but interesting. An interesting experience.
Different.
Worth playing.
Yeah.
But not more fun than any other thing I found.
What'd you think, Alex?
I didn't get a chance to play the versus stuff yet, which I'm actually really excited about. I know that you liked being the sucker or whatever.
The smoker,
Smoker
yes.
is cool.
But yeah, I mean, this game is an experience. This game reminds me of what it was like to get my Xbox and drag it with the TV over to my friend's house and play, LAN party. It's like a LAN party game, and it's the first game that really got that same experience of feeling like when I think back to when we've played this game, I visualize you in my house. I don't visualize, but most other games that we play,
I was in your
I
house.
don't. Well, that was odd. Yo, you were in the guest bedroom. No, but most other games, when I think back, I go, wow, that was really fun playing online with those guys.
Yeah.
This is really the first time where I was like, I really felt like you guys were sitting next to me and just out of my periphery.
Dan was this weird biker dude.
Yeah, and I was like,
Jeff was a chick.
I was like, wow, Jeff's got a nice rack.
It's
it's
interesting.
so much fun. It's a great experience.
It's like playing a board game almost.
It is.
Because it's the same game every time, but it plays out differently every single time.
It's the most that I've focused
Fox
on,
quote.
and it's the most that I've.
That's how they want to sell us.
Yeah, horrible. It's the most that I've ever focused on real, cooperative, cohesive strategy in a game. Most of the time, I mean, like, we play Gears 2 together. Most of the time, I was like, I'm gonna go this way. Fucking good! Bang, 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 bang. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With
You
this,
were
it was like,
you
let
will
us
back.
turn
You
around.
will die
You and I
if we
are
don't-
back. What are you doing over there? I see your shadow through the walls. Get back here. You know what I mean?
There are
I
so
stayed
many-
in the Dan the Dan something.
The Dan Doctrine.
The Dan Doctrine was if someone goes down, someone has to call them and go save them, and then someone has to call that guy and protect them, and then the last guy just protects them.
There's so many brilliant little touches with this game.
But it's more strategy than that's great.
Yeah, and it is the kind of thing where I think that if only Valve, Blizzard, and Bethesda made games, I would be happy. Those are the only, because they put so much care into making it right before it comes out.
You were talking about the engine and how great it looks.
Well, it's a Source engine. It's from Half-Life 2, and you know when they released Half-Life 2, they said this is our engine, and it's going to be moddable. It's going to be we're going to be able to add to it over the years, and that's proven to be the case. And it still looks fantastic.
You were talking about how cinematic it is, and I was just thinking like it doesn't do zombie games good. It does zombie movies good. Like it makes you feel like it doesn't make you feel like you're inside a better zombie game.
No,
it makes you feel like you're in a zombie movie.
Actually, a zombie apocalypse that's being filmed.
I mean,
one last thing I want to say is that the brilliant thing about that game, I think, is that when you talk to people about it, it's people are relating to you moments that happened rather than. Rather than
levels or
exactly,
whatever.
it was this really crazy thing that happened that probably didn't happen to you, but it happened to me. Like me being sucked out of the window by that lurker in that moment. Everybody had to rush and save me. It's these incredible moments that you can share.
You know what's cool about that? The fact that it's 4 levels and you replay them as different every time. It's not epic moments in games are usually like in Gears with the worm. You're like, oh shit, we broke out the worm, and that
happens
just the
once.
same thing, and it happens once, and it's the same thing for every. The moments that are created aren't things that they did. Valve.
Dan wandered away this one time, and it was horrible.
It's more like I owned both Boardwalk and Park Place, and Dan landed on it. And I had to pay. It's like
that's the call. That's it.
That's it right
End
there.
on that.
Booms.
Nards.
we didn't end on that.
All right, well, before we get to our email, we do want to thank our sponsors, such lovely sponsors as Squarespace. I know we've talked about Squarespace, but if you have not checked out their service, you must go to squarespace.com right now and check out their service. They have the best web hosting stuff we have ever seen. They host your site and also have an amazing WYSIWYG editor.
It's amazing because it's easy. It's so easy.
And not only that, it's so inexpensive. And not only that, it is doubly more inexpensive because as a TRS viewer, you can get an additional 10% off the entire life of your website at Squarespace. Head over to squarespace.com, type in the promo code TRS when you check out. Go and check out the WYSIWYG editor. We love you guys, Squarespace.
Also,
this thing!
I would like to talk to you about the new PSP 3000. They sent us one so I could check it out. We have PSPs already.
Correct. Of the 1000 generation.
Yeah, this is a brighter screen. I did it side by side. Brighter screen, less gloss on it so it doesn't reflect quite as severely.
Yeah.
And if you have not played Loco Roco, God of War Chains of Olympus,
Puzzle Quest,
Puzzle Quest, Final Fantasy Crisis Core, Patapon, these are fantastic, amazing games. Not only that, but just recently, they announced that
this game, Ratchet and Clank,
which comes with the PSP 3000.
And plus.
Look at that. Look how great that looks.
And plus.
Can you see how great that looks? It's amazing. It's like widescreen. You can watch our show on the PSP.
Yeah.
But not only that, they just announced that Super Stardust, which is a game I absolutely loved on the PS3 as a downloadable game, they're going to make a portable version for the PSP. Amazing.
Wait, why don't they also do? That's awesome.
You can get Echo Chrome. Well, Geometry Wars is a Microsoft game. Probably shouldn't be talked about during the Sony sponsorship. These are amazing, amazing games. Ratchet and Clank. Look at it. It looks so cinematic. This is an incredible system.
Amazing. If you don't have a PS3 or PSP, go get one.
Yeah.
Dan?
Yeah, can you turn off? Because the audio. Thank you.
He was playing Ratchet and Clank over there.
Microsoft over there.
Actually, I'm Mr. Sony, if you notice.
He's like a Mac PC ad all of a sudden.
Cling, cling. GoDaddy.com is, of course, sponsoring the show. They always do. They have a pretty sweet deal, my friends. $1.99 web domains. There are .com domains that are as low as $1.99.
Love it.
Really cool. 99. They feature 99% uptime.
That's a lot of uptime.
That's
Yeah, it's better
Sounds
than.
like me.
Hey-o!
Hey!
He's
For
talking
that-
about his wingdanger.
for that
Hey.
point. For that point.
I was actually talking about my car. But that's all right.
Oh, you own a wingdanger car.
That's right. I forgot.
The Toyota
For the
wingdanger.
0.001% time that they might possibly sorta kinda
Toyota
be
penis
down,
toy.
they have 24/7 help for you. And these guys need some of that.
We're
right
gonna
now.
call it 24-hour GoDaddy support
So
right now.
to get your domains and to get, I guess 10% typically off your order, go to GoDaddy.com and
our
put in the promo code
General promo code for everything we do.
TRS1.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Great job, Dan. Great job, Jeff.
Thank you, sir.
Let's get on to our email, shall we? Dear totally rad guys, my husband and I love watching your show together.
We love that.
I thought of you after reading a short article about how WoW character choices can parallel people's real-life political parties. I began to wonder if our main WoW characters' racial and class choices really can match our personalities. I am a gnome warlock, not me. She is a gnome warlock. Thinking back on the start of my
see in her
character, I
picture.
chose a warlock. Hello, ooh, floating. I chose a warlock because no hand-to-hand combat was necessary, and I really like to avoid confrontation and drama in my life. Yeah, you getting it?
Avoision.
As a warlock, I can stay at a safe distance away from the enemy. I also have been said to be a passive-aggressive person, and I think for this reason, I like the unassuming nature of a small gnome. That sounds so sweet.
I have to say,
What?
a small gnome isn't very unassuming. I'd be like, what the fuck is that gnome doing there?
Well, not when there's a whole bunch of gnomes running around Ironforge. Anyway,
you didn't make any assumptions.
What class and race are your main WoW characters? Also, do you think they reflect your personalities at all? Ave? Ave? Evie? Ave?
Abe?
Ave? All right,
Avenue.
Abe.
It's short for Avenue.
All right, Abe.
Sure.
Love it. So I'm sort of the only real WoW head, although you have come back
I'm
in
on
force, my
Project
friend.
Lore, baby.
You've
I
come
mean,
back in
come on.
force, which I love. But also, Jeff had a great idea, which is sort of talk about how all of the characters that we play in games, because a lot of the games we play.
Sure for Avenue.
Steve liked it. Thank you. See, if Steve wasn't here, no one would laugh at my
I love
jokes.
it. It's amazing. Anyway, Avenue, so we want to talk about maybe like Fable 2. Did your character look the same?
Yeah, generally when you play
RPGs.
games, and now more and more of these games are letting you customize your character to a really extravagant extent.
Right.
What do you take into consideration? Do you make it like you? Do you make it like other?
Dan, what do you think?
What do you do?
Well,
Do you like to play as Dan Trachtenberg,
it's
the
so
action
funny.
adventure star?
I
or-
almost always play good,
Right.
an actively good guy.
Right. And you are an asshole. in
I'm
real
a
life.
dick in real life. No, but it's really difficult to play it back because you don't. And I also find it difficult to play as girls because I want it to be wish fulfillment. I want it to in
all right.
Fable or
That's not a wish?
And I want it to be me, like it's me, and if I was really good and worked out and could use guns and lasers and could knew karate, you know what I mean? Like I want it to be like me enhanced.
Plus.
Hyper you.
Yeah,
Super
exactly.
Dan.
You know what?
So it's hard.
Dan plus.
It's hard to play as the girl character in a game because I know there's no way that could ever possibly be me. Science does allow
Science
for some
allows for
things,
some-
but
Just
I don't
some
want
wiggle
to be a
room.
girl. But
Dan
I want
becomes a woman.
Basically, it's
should do
wish
that segment.
fulfillment.
Right.
Video games is
Okay.
wish fulfillment. I found playing Fallout 3 as a bad guy very challenging. And maybe it's been part game, but also part like it's just hard to make those.
Do you want it to look like
bad
you?
decisions. I do because and now we have avatars and in games in the boxing games Final.
Like Punch Face?
No, what's the final?
Fight Night Round.
Fight Night Round 3 or whatever. Had that great customization. And me and my brother would make it look exactly like us. 'Cause
Well, like,
it's cool. It's wish fulfillment.
It's fun to beat
see
your brother up.
yourself.
And Rainbow Six, you could take a picture and it would put it out. You remember?
And
We
I
loved that.
Now,
Crazy.
on the other end of the spectrum, when I see some of the new avatars on 360 as dudes with like crazy dreadlocks and guys I know look nothing like that, and they're making it all crazy.
Yeah.
And I assume that there's some fun there to be had, but I can't bring myself to do it because I think what's fun is that, oh my God, that's
That
me.
looks like Dan.
As opposed to, oh my God, look how crazy.
Jeff, what about you?
Well, it's interesting, specifically with the WoW thing. The first character I ever played at launch of WoW was a druid, a night elf druid. And
I could see
maybe
that.
a little. I think I picked the druid because I wanted to be a little bit of a jack of all trades, and you know,
Caster
and
melee.
yeah, and I think maybe in life I've always
I've always tried to be sort of a renaissance man of be expert at nothing but proficient at everything, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But my new character, post Burning Crusade, was a paladin, and it's ironic because I always played a prot pally, which because specifically the last thing you got to do was throw your shield.
Right.
Everybody knows I like the
Captain
shield,
America.
but Captain America also, you know.
Yeah.
Super cool. But like you, Dan, I always tend to play good characters, and I really actively try. Maybe this is narcissistic. I don't know. I actively try to get those characters to look as much like me as possible. Fallout 3, I tried to make my guy look as much like me as possible. I think that's fun. I think that's a neat
It's
thing.
easier for you to do than most people, because those video game characters look like
Devastatingly handsome.
It's
Oh,
amazing.
Dan, you're the nicest.
I mean,
I love it. So
I was waiting.
so
I was
am
waiting
Thanks,
for.
Dan.
I was waiting for the swerve when you were like, you could play a
no, because every
a
video game guy
goblin really easily.
has short black hair.
I want to
you know,
create a character named a
very
Gorgon.
Italian.
Okay, Dan, Alex, so you're.
It's all right. It's Alex. I don't know. I kind of go back and forth. Like my first character in you know, most of my first characters have either been rogues or ranged characters, and I don't quite know why. I think I don't
You
like
stab
to
people in the back.
I like to stab people in the back, but also I think I don't know. I like to shoot people. No, I don't know. It's tough because
If you can't get close to their back.
if I can't get close to their back, I will shoot them in the face from very far away. But like even D&D,
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't intend that to happen.
You never do that.
never done that.
You never like
snorted.
comment.
Who
on
is that guy?
something you
I just did this. I put my hands are in my pockets. I don't know why. My hands are in my pockets.
Wash my hands of that.
My hands are that.
All right, let's get this
Snorted.
done.
Anyway, so I like to sort of play the way I would like to play, and I think it goes back to me being a kid and liking, you know, Star Wars, which is very sort of like mystical, and I feel like with rogues it's very like, you know, sneaky and almost magic-like, you know. I don't know.
But wait,
Well,
there's
more than mages and
more than
priests.
magic-based
Mages,
characters?
I just feel like it's all show. It's like, whoa,
Mages are
fireball.
like old slow Gandalf.
Yeah.
They're not in it. But
Yeah.
but a rogue is sort
I
of.
like jumpy, wiry, pokey. Anyway, hopefully that
Jumpy,
answered your
wiry,
question.
pokey.
You are wiry.
I am wiry and pokey.
Oh, what a train wreck.
Anyway,
All right.
if you'd like to have your email question, and thank you very much, Av. If you'd like to have your email question, Steve, answered on the show, please feel free to send it to fans@totallyradshow.com.
Yeah, it's something we maybe don't emphasize enough. The thing about this show that we love is the interactivity with you, the audience. We love the email questions. We love getting backgrounds that we can integrate into the show. Come to the discussion forums.
Like the pile on here.
Discuss the show in the forums. We're there. We read everything.
We read almost everything. And there was
Everything.
some talk. Why are they?
Oh, yeah, why don't those guys-
We read everything.
I guarantee you, if you're posting in the
Trolls.
forums, we've read it. That's why we're on Twitter. We want to have the show be about interaction. So I don't know if we emphasize that enough when we kind of just go through this stuff at the end of the show.
Yeah.
But anyway, if you want to send us a background like this, you can go to our website, download this background if you would like. You can download our logo to make your own background. And I already mentioned the discussion forums.
Love it. Love it.
Also, we have Dan probably wants to tell the people about the fun little teas we want to tease.
Oh, the tea.
Yes, it is. Before I do, just follow up with talking about the website. I
Yes.
don't know why I talk like a Smurf all the time.
That's all right.
But because
saw gnome.
So also on the website is the movie we're gonna review next week. You can always check that to see what movie we reviewed, so you can go out and see it yourself. Next week we got a trifecta: The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Doubt. Well, this is why they go website to make sure.
Yeah.
And Time Crimes, which Time Crimes comes out the 12th. So it's a smaller film. So go out there if you want to be in on our
Action.
action.
We got a little something, don't we? Yeah, we got a little something coming up. We're
Can't-
doing some stuff.
Little deets, you know, our
Can't say much yet. LA,
LA.
January.
Yeah.
People invited who may or may not be winning their way in.
Yeah.
Maybe.
small venue,
Intimate.
big bands. No,
Yes.
I don't know.
Entenmann's.
We're
No
so
bands.
intimate. I wish they had Entenmann's
bands.
chocolate chip cookies.
No.
Delicious.
Entenmann's.
Yeah. It's gonna be our
Raspberry
last
wake
year.
up morning
Oh.
pie.
Last year we did a wrap up where we named our favorite video games and movies of the year. We're gonna do that again this year. We're gonna do it in front of a live audience. It's gonna be very small.
It's gonna
So
be
that was
big.
Small
Deets
for a
coming.
good reason.
Deets coming.
Let's get out of here.
No, we got some Jinx. You can get.
Yeah. Holidays abound, baby.
Oh, what makes a great
Jinx.com.
gift?
TRS stuff. Jinx.com/TRS. Also, follow us up on Twitter if you want to see the random ramblings of us on our daily lives.
Interact.
Twitter.com/Alex Albrecht.
/Jeff Canada.
/Danny TRS.
/Steve TRS. That is it for this week's edition of The Totally Rad Show. I'm Alex Albrecht.
I am Jeff Canada.
I'm Dan Trachtenberg. See you next Tuesday at noon.
Everybody snore it.
Kick him in the nuts! Kick him in the nuts!
He doesn't have any notes!
Do it! Do it!
I'm waiting for Jeff to advance. Bam!
Wolfman's got nards.
Totally Rad Show.
Sure hope you're not confused. We swear this is all true. Not just the premise, too. The totally
I wish that was a